And get ready, get ready, get ready. It's Let's Talk Business with Cheryl J. Cusseau. We're here for the second hour of the show, and I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Shanae Davis.
Hello, hello.
Girl, it's hot.
It is hot. It's hot. And it's time to focus on summer fun and summer safety. Who do we have on today, Cheryl?
Listen, I am so excited for our guests. We invited Morris and Leah West to come and be a guest on our show. And Leah gave us the best of the best. And so we have the honor of having your honor, Mayor Morris West, to join us on our show today. So I know you are excited. I am excited. To our Facebook listening audience, our social media platform, our YouTubers, you are hearing information today straight from the mayor of Haines City. Welcome to the show, Your Honor.
Welcome, and thank you all for having the Morris and Leah West Foundation on your show today. And yes, I am the mayor for the great city of Haines City, located in Polk County, Florida. Thank you all for having me this afternoon.
Well, there's a lot of good things happening in Polk County, and you've got some great people there. And I get to say this because Dr. Davis and I already know I'm the publisher of DSI Black Pages, and Dr. Davis has her Your Best You clinic. Like you guys came on around about the same time, and then we also have the fortunate pleasure of having United Security, and that's Morris and Leah West. It doesn't get any better than that. And then we have viewers of DSI Black Pages, our viewers of In Touch News, our viewers of Let's Talk Business. So today is the show that will be all up in your medical. We're going to come back and do it.
An echo of a different conversation going on.
Don't really measure the developer.
I'm muted.
Okay.
Let's just check our noise. Our noise.
Okay, I can do a quick sound check.
Oh, super runny because you still have to add your shampoo in it, but you don't want it really.
What about Miss McCullum? Can we get Miss McCullum?
Diamond?
Yeah.
Diamond, we need you to
Awesome. Yes. So
technology is great, and the fact that we can still communicate with each other, but that is not going to certainly take away from this conversation today. As we were having our conversation prior to the show with Mr. West, we were explaining to him about every summer, Dr. Davis brings to us a show about summer safety, and we've had a number of experts to come on and help us to bring awareness to our community. So it becomes more than just a family thing or an individual thing. It's a community responsibility. And as we were pondering the thoughts about what we wanted to do, and listen, I got to live it this weekend. I had 3 little girls with me, and they all wanted to go swimming. And it was interesting to note that my granddaughter is 5, and she is what's now level 5 in her swimming. And my little goddaughter is 9 and could swim. And then my daughter's niece was 6. And so, but the 2 did not want to get out of the pool. And as the adult, I'm thinking constantly, sometimes it's difficult to have fun, Dr. Davis, when you're watching these little ones, because, and Mr. Morris will tell us, you cannot turn your back.
But you got to do it, though, Cheryl. You absolutely have to do it. Summer fun and water just goes hand in hand. And with Florida having so many, different bodies of water, everyone has a pool. Even if you got a lanai, sometimes there's a pool in it, or someone, like your neighbor has one. They're just so common. But then there are also the rivers. We got Hillsborough River running, through
Yes.
town. We're nowhere from the Gulf, and then you can take a short drive to the other side of the state and you're at the ocean. So water is just a part of the Florida sunshine experience. Drowning is the highest cause of the greatest cause of death for children in our state, and it's so much higher for our Black children. Black people altogether, about 1.5 times more likely to die of drowning than whites. But when it comes to children, the disparity amongst our children is just so much greater. Between those ages 5 and 9, there's a 2.6 times
Yeah.
chance of,
Tired.
and between ages 10 and 14 is 3.6, and it just kind of goes higher from that. Many of us have also, had, some drownings happen that are really close. When my daughter was in the Mosey program, it was a youth leadership program. One of her, classmates, in that cohort was that 17-year-old kid. He was a football star, very brilliant part of the IB program. He drowned in a quarry. That was back in 2017.
Yeah.
Around an apartment complex, here in Tampa in 2019, a 3-year-old kid died. And also this year, a father and a toddler, were swept out at Apollo Beach and drowned. So it's very, very common.
It is. It's very common. And each one of us can share those stories. I can go back to, I think it was my first year as a nursing student. And my mom worked for a hospital at the time. It was University Community Hospital. And they put on this huge annual picnic every year. And one of my nieces, and granted, this was 30 years ago, but one of my nieces, all of the kids were playing in the water, and all of a sudden we heard the kids screaming. She couldn't come up. They couldn't find her. And she had been pulled, some sort of current, pulled her under. And volunteers, and I know we're going to talk about community and volunteers, they came from all over. And when one of the fathers brought her to, I knew enough to get CPR started. And that's why I can't wait to have a conversation with Mr. West so we can talk more about it. But I got it started as the paramedics were coming to her. And the first thing they said was, well, where did you learn that? And who are you? And I told them then I was a nursing student, but I felt so proud of myself because that was my niece. She was a young child, but at the moment I was so calm and knew exactly what I needed to do. And all of a sudden, this lifeless body, but you're hoping and you're praying and you're doing what you've been trained to do. And then all of a sudden, all of this water, I mean, she had swallowed a ton of water. And you know what I said after the show? I'm going to give her a call. I hope she's tuning in because she has 4 daughters. And I want to make sure that all 4 of them know how to swim. If not, we're going to send them over to Morris and Leah's Foundation for some swimming lessons.
But is just as important. That's right.
Let me take this opportunity because he has so much to share with us to introduce to our radio listening audience. And as I said to our Facebook listeners and our Let's Talk business viewers, I said to Mr. West, is this Black History Month? And you'll wonder why I asked the question. So the Honorable Mayor Morris West of Haines City, born and raised a native of Polk County. He's a Bethune-Cookman graduate. He's a retired police chief and a graduate of the FBI National Academy. He has spent his entire adult life engaging in the community with a resume of community services to boot. He is the Chief Operating Officer for United Protective Security. And you can find United Protective Security in DSI Black Pages. Mr. West was elected to the Haines City Commission in 2016 and currently serving his 2nd term. He is the only one of 2 commissioners in history, get this, in the history of Haines City to serve not 1, not 2, and we've learned this morning, not 3, but 4.
Wow,
4 terms as mayor. Under his leadership, and listen, I wish I could give you all that he has accomplished, but we'll certainly put a link so that you can find out for yourself. But this is what's important. Under his leadership as mayor of Haines City was listed, are you ready for this, as one of the top 50 safest cities to live for, not 1 year, not 2 years, but 3 consecutive years. He just doesn't stop until it's 3 terms or more. So kudos to you, sir. By the way, he's a member of the Florida League of Mayors, a representative for the Bridge League of Cities on the Central Florida Regional Planning Council, a member of the Florida Black Caucus of Elected Officials, and a member of the Florida League of Cities Land Use and Economic Development Committee. He serves as a representative for the Haines City EDC and Chamber of Commerce. He is a representative for Polk Regional Water Cooperative and a member of the East Polk Ridge Advocacy Board. Wes is very involved with Phi Beta Sigma fraternity, whose motto is culture for service and service for humanity. The service philosophy was instilled in him by his parents and his alma mater, Bethune-Cookman University, who instilled the service philosophy in him too. Are you ready for this? Enter to learn and depart to serve. He asserts for that reason, and he has always been and will continue to be a civic minded and employee centric individual. Throughout his career, he's received numerous awards and recognitions. And I'm telling you, we would have to go on for days, but I do want to just highlight for you a little bit about his community service. And you're going to hear about the man, the mission, the mogul. But check this out. Co-founder, Northeast Revitalization Group, nonprofit organization created to make restorative and aesthetic improvements for the elderly and disadvantaged throughout Haines City. Volunteer, 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 volunteer. Volunteering to do what? Feeding the rich, keeping Poor County beautiful. Founding member of the Northeast Rattlers Football and Cheerleader Organization, football coach, 17 years. Business manager, Mid-Florida Football and Cheer Association. Founder, which is why he's our guest today, of the Morris and Leah West Foundation, nonprofit organization that sponsors swimming lessons and provide college scholarships. Welcome to the show, Your Honor. Again.
Thank you for all those accolades. But grace of God that has allowed us to do things and serve our great community, and we're going to continue to serve. My wife and I, Leah West, are going to continue to serve our city of Haines City and beyond. Haines City is a very unique place. And we enjoy servicing our community. And this year alone, this is our first year establishing the Morris and Leah West Foundation. And it was a reason because of the stats and the drowning death that occurred. And some of the stats that occur in drowning, and just this past year, believe it or not, 78% of the drowning calls have been involved in children from the ages of 1 to 9 years of age. I'm not all on was death calls, but those are the calls for service. That's 83% of the call for service in the summertime has been calls for drowning. Drowning death can occur. It doesn't have to be a large body of water. It can be even in your bathtub if you have the water in there. You have to watch and keep a close eye on all these young kids because they are attracted to that water. So Leah and I wanted to take an initiative and do something about it. So one of the things that we said, how can we help, educate?
Yes.
What we want to do is educate them on the importance of getting into water. Don't jump in the water if you don't know how to swim. So we came up with a foundation because that is something that we have not been educated enough on learning how to swim. So we took and actually money out of our own pocket to start this foundation, and we were paying for swimming lessons for kids, and these swimming lessons are $40. So what we wanted to do was actually pay for at least 50 swimming lessons just to start the foundation. We paid for swimming lesson here in Haines City at our local aquatic center, and believe it or not, within 2 days, those 50 swimming lessons has already application has already been filled, and parents has signed their kids up for swimming lessons. So we realized that was a great initiative. So next year is to continue to spread not just the foundation for Haines City. This foundation is not going to be for just Haines City. We want to make the state of Florida foundation. We want to service all the cities and communities. There's 412 municipalities, towns, and villages in the state of Florida. We want our name associated with each and every one of them to save lives and to teach kids how to swim. The question says, well, why kids? Why not adults? There's several adults, and lots of adults that does not know how to swim. And we understand, but we felt like the most important is to start with kids. because the kids can then maybe educate their parents on how to swim. But we wanted to start with the kids. And there's no set criteria. You don't have to be indigent. You don't have to, all you have to do is, one of the criteria is don't know how to swim. That's all we need to know. If you don't know, we want to teach you how to swim. And that is our main philosophy. And when we talk to swimming coaches, we say to swimming coaches, we don't want them to learn how to swim in their swimming trunks. We want them to learn how to swim in their full clothing. Because if you're in a body of water, sometimes you're not always in the swimming gear. Sometimes you're in a full clothing. And when you're in a full set of clothing and those clothing get wet, that makes that body, that makes the clothes are much heavier and it's harder to swim with clothes on. So teach them how to swim with clothes on and also with swimming gear. It's a difference.
Very, wow, Mayor West. Congratulations on just the insight to, just to take, even your own resources and start such a program. Obviously, your community saw the importance for all of the slots to exhaust in 2 days. So congratulations on that. I remember being 5 or 6 years old. I just know I was in kindergarten, and we were taken to our teacher's home for swimming. And yeah, the water was so pretty. I didn't realize I didn't know how to swim at 6 or 5, and I did jump in the deep end. Someone got me. Obviously, I'm here, but that is definitely something that children do. What also happens periodically after that is a lifelong fear of water. Either from adults that see something like that happen to children, or the children experiencing that themselves. Particularly for the African American children that are in your program. Have you heard, or have the children expressed fear of the water, and what has your program done to mitigate those feelings?
Well, and that's a great question, and you're absolutely correct. A lot of kids they fearful of the water, and the reason they say they fearful of water because their parents has made them fearful of water by telling them do not get in that water, don't do this. You can drown. So kids are fearful. I'm sorry, but what we try to do is make sure that you are safe in that water. If you learn how to swim, you learn how to float, you can save yourself or save the life of someone else. Do not be fearful of water. Learn how to swim in the water. So we have to take first the fear from them, because that is the number one a problem that we see, is that kids don't want to swim or don't want to go take swimming lessons because they are afraid of the water, based on what their ancestor has told them in the past, that don't get in water, you can drown. Yep. You can, but you also can swim to get out of the water. So we need to know how to get out of the water just in case you ever get in a water situation. So it's important. But the fear, that's the first factor you have to. And the way you get rid of that fear, you can take an 8-month-old baby or 18-month-old baby, and that's how you get rid of the fear, because babies doesn't have fear. If you teach them to swim at that early age, then they'll learn to swim forever.
Oh my goodness, Mayor West, you just took me back down memory lane. Now I'm a Tampa girl, and so the reason I learned to swim, Dr. Davis, and you know this area all too well. I'm a College Hill girl, and in College Hill we had a park called Cyrus Green Park, and what happened there? The youth were jumping the fence trying to get into that water. You can't have kids growing up in a housing project, like Dr. Davis said. You see this beautiful water, you don't know you can't swim. And so the kids started jumping over the fence. I don't recall that I was one of those kids. I couldn't, but I don't remember jumping the fence. I do remember getting in the pool. And what they did was they started offering swimming lessons to us during the summer so that we wouldn't have to, jump the fence illegally trying to get in the pool to swim. And then as a result of that, we had such a great swimming team that then they allowed us to sign up for swimming lessons at the University of South Florida. So that's really where I learned to not only swim, but diminish that fear of swimming in that water, to where, Dr. Davis, are you ready for this, girl? I could dive off of the highest platform diving board they had at USF. But what a great way to expose our kids to programs like that. Because Mayor West, you have two specific facilities, nice facilities. Tell us a little bit about the facilities where your students are going to be trained. And let me tell you, DSI Black Pages, we received your letter and we will be sponsoring kids for the company. Let's Talk Business with SJC. We will also sponsor a couple of those kids as well because we believe in what you are doing. Mayor West?
Thank you for that. And we're not only teaching them to learn how to swim, but we also are teaching them to learn how to save a life and just in case someone is drowning. So therefore, you know how to perform CPR. We teach you the CPR training,
Awesome.
AE, save a life just in case a person has jumped in the water and needs some medical attention because, seconds count. If you can provide a medical service to them like CPR, and that's part of the foundation as well, is to teach CPR to kids and the adults with the CPR portion. And yes, we have two aquatic centers. We have the Janet Jolly Aquatic Center, and we have the Lake Evil Event Center where there's an aquatic center there. Both locations you can pick the location that you desire you want to go get the swimming lesson for. Both locations are open for swimming lesson. And we want to, but of course we need funding. We want to be able to spread this throughout the state of Florida, like I said earlier, not just it started here in Haines City, but we want this to grow. We want to be able to help kids that's in Miami all the way up to Pensacola. But we want to be able to. The only way we're going to do that, we don't need funding. But
yes,
and I are going to continually take money out of our pocket, and we're going to keep continuing to fund this, in spite of, until we can say one kid at a time, then teach them how to swim. But our centers are available. If you don't have a aquatic center in your city, you are more than welcome to come to Haines City to get the swimming lesson, and we will pay for it.
I think
is the donation link? I know they're working on your website. I saw some movement, some maintenance being done. Have they added the donation button yet?
It's not added yet, but it will be in the fairly new foundation.
Well, you can tell them where to cut that check and how to mail it.
Well, they can send a check to Morris and Leah West Foundation. It's a not-for-profit 501c3, and they can send it to 1003 Ronlin. That's RONLIN Street in Haines City, Florida 33844. And no amount is too large, and no amount is too little. If you want to send $2, that's $2 toward that $40 to help a kid learn how to swim. And we want to partner with a Red Cross and with the CPR. And my wife, certified CPR instructor, so we will teach that.
I think that is such an important and valuable, service that you provide. And the objective to go across the state is so worthwhile because we were saying before that, the fear of just getting in the water, once we get that out of the way, we can change that perception that Black people, can't swim,
yes.
Don't want to get in the water, etc. Because it is generational. Once we see someone have a bad event, or you hear of someone in the family having, a bad event around water, you do tell the kids don't go near, etc., etc. We have another guest, Miss Inetta Stevens. She is Cheryl and I are just in our 20s. Okay, so that means
25 and 28 respectively.
So that means Miss Stevens is also in her 20s. But we are we're mature and we have some life experience. And Miss Stevens took to Facebook and she talked about her fear of water and her fear of swimming. And she chronicled that journey. And she's on today to tell us about that. So Miss Inetta Stevens, tell us a little about you and this journey. You're on mute, by the way.
Good afternoon. Can you all hear me?
You can't hear
Yes, now we can.
Okay. I currently live in Tampa, but I am right now attending a convention in Greenville, South Carolina. So we're on a little break. But definitely thank you for having me, Sora Davis, Sora Dr. Davis. I take it. I am 46 years old. I am the mother of two children, two adult children, who I am proud to say they learned how to swim at a very, very young age. That wasn't something that I learned how to do. So I lived most of my life, I should say, not knowing how to swim. But not only just not knowing how to swim, but the fear of water. And I totally think those are two different things because sometimes one of the things that the coach would always tell me is just stand up. A lot of people drown in water that they can actually stand up in. So as she said, I did chronicle my journey because I want other people to know that you can learn how to swim and that it's not too late. The amount of messages that I received on my inbox was really, really heartfelt because I thought at some point that I probably was like one of the few adults that didn't know how to swim, but I realized that it is definitely one of those things that was is pretty much common amongst my age group and people of color. So definitely, it is definitely worth talking about. And when she asked me or told me about today's show, I was more than excited to join.
And we're excited to have you and to have you share your testimony and take a break. It sounds like your convention is having a blast.
Yes, thank you. So the program, again, and I do think that even I know that your nonprofit is for children. I don't know if there is something that could be started, even just for adults. I do think that adults, for me at the time I was married, so if my husband didn't know how to swim, my kids probably would not have learned how to swim because I was terrified of the water. I wasn't the one taking my kids around the water. Once I found out that they knew how to swim and swim very well, I did allow them to go swimming, but that was something that I kept them away from. So I just think back that, how many parents don't know how to swim? And when you were mentioning earlier, then that's not something that you teach your kids. You can't teach your kids something that you don't know. And if you're terrified of that, then you definitely pass off that feeling of I'm terrified of water and I want you to stay away from it when in actuality it's something that we should introduce kids to early and it should be embraced and definitely encouraged. So
not only that, as a mother, you become fearful of putting your children in a situation where you feel that you have a low amount of control. So if something happened to the children and you can't swim yourself, or you have a fear of water yourself, you may not feel that you'd be able to save them. So all of those things are really important. I appreciate you sharing with that.
Yeah.
And if you have
thank you.
information here in Tampa where you had your swimming lessons, where you learned about these swimming lessons, please let us know because we add these things to the show follow up online so that when they click on to review the show again, our listeners and people that, want to, watch it, after the fact, they'll be able to connect with the people that helped you to swim.
I
Awesome.
definitely will. I actually included it because people were asking me on my inbox. I didn't want to not give it to the people who were perhaps afraid to ask or didn't or felt like they didn't know me well enough to inbox me. I did post it, but I'll definitely post it again. It was literally 8 lessons, and I think it was like it was $40, which was the red
Okay.
card. I mean, yeah, so it was really affordable. But definitely it's not something that was readily I didn't know about it. I actually was getting lunch and looked across the streets and it says we teach swimming here, all ages. And I didn't see it online. I didn't see any advertisement about it or anything. So I'll definitely share that with you because I definitely think that it is information that is needed and definitely encouraged.
Sora Annetta Stevens, I appreciate you. Thank you so,
Thank,
so much for sharing your story. And
thank you so much for having me. And if you post the link, I'll definitely want to donate because I do believe that kids they definitely have a future. And if I could help inspire somebody else to swim, then I would definitely do so.
I love it.
We will do that, and we will post the information on our thank you post. And please, when you make your donation as well, share it, because we believe in what Morris and Leah West are doing, and you are the perfect example of it. So thank you for taking a few minutes out to share your story, which will enlighten so many others.
Thank you. And I hate to jump off, but I'm in the
It's
middle of a
okay.
convention and it's kind of noisy here, so I didn't want to interrupt the program. But thank you again for having me, and good luck, Mr. West. And thank you so much to the panelists. I definitely will be joining you again.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Dr. Davis, we're getting ready to break for commercial, but as I was listening to Mayor West speak a moment ago about Leah West, and that maybe that's something we can think about even doing a live. We've done live shows before, but let her do a live CPR show for us when time permits, because that is key, and not just for swimming. It's just something that we need to know. All as adults, we all should be. We should have our little CPR cards, if not go through the basic training, maybe not certified, but at least get the CPR training. So
knowing what to do is important. Knowing is half the battle. And as we you'll notice out of the break, talk about summer fun and other things that we do in the summer, we'll highlight more of that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so as we're getting ready to prepare to go to break, I can't help but appreciate what Mayor West said. My firstborn, Rocky, my sister-in-law, and I'll give a shout out to Sabrina Cusseau. She was babysitting our son one day, and she came back and she said, "Oh, your baby can swim." And I said, "My baby can't swim." She took our baby and dropped him in her swimming pool. And that boy just, only the Lord was with him, but he just swam like a fish.
How old was he?
Girl, 6 months.
You know what? That happened to my kid too.
Look, and that was probably her last time babysitting.
I don't know about dropping them in, but my husband at the time convinced me to put my kid in the pool and just let him go, and just dunked on the water. I had a heart attack. But they just kind of come back up like guppies.
I'm glad you did, because I would have never done that.
I would not have ever done that. But
we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys back after the break.
We're playing your favorite old school. Today's R&B. With a smooth touch of jazz. You're listening to In Touch Radio.
Don't miss the first annual Amateur Grillers Cook-Off coming to the Tampa Bay area on Labor Day weekend, September the 5th. Hosted by the Dr. K.C. Patel High School, located at 10721 Rollinson Ranch Road, right here in Tampa, from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. There will be a $500 cash prize to the best amateur griller. If you feel that you've got the skills, then you need to bring your grill. It doesn't matter how big or how small. You can drive it up, push it up, pull it up, or even let grandma and grandpa help you set it up. Just bring the entire family out and enjoy some of the finest amateur grill meats. Sample the sauce and find out who has the best sauce. Bring your meat and put it on a plate, and let's see if you have what it takes. For vendors information, text 813-965-4456.
When it comes to reality radio, everyone is a star.
Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
On your smooth soul and R&B station.
On the World Wide Web.
In Touch Radio.
And we are back. Thank you so much to our special guest, Mayor West, and a special shout out to Miss Arnetta for joining us and sharing with us her fear of swimming. And after you heard that, Mayor West, what were your thoughts listening to this mother of two talking about her fear of water and swimming?
Yeah, I thought her comments was right on point, and I'm thankful for that. Sometimes you have to be able to experience things in order to share that with individuals that have not experienced different things in your life. So I was really impressed with her thoughts and comments that she had given us this afternoon. So thanks to the comment that she had given.
And I'm so glad you made that a comment, the comment about the two of you sharing your personal resources, but then making that appeal, and for her to have heard that and then to publicly state to you that she wants to make a donation to your foundation. And that's what we have this amazing platform, Dr. Davis and I, and we have been able to bless a number of nonprofits. I'm in one right now, my birthday fundraiser. And since we are doing it and we're still a part of it, was last month. And I kicked off this campaign for 10 causes. And I believe now we are already, Dr. Davis, are you ready for this? We are at $15,000. Every penny is going to, that's how I wanted to celebrate my birthday. And so to my friends and mainly my friends and some of my colleagues have just been donating online, offline. And it's great to be able to make an impact, use your life in some small way to make an impact to help others. But yeah, we have hit the $15,000 mark. We're going to continue through the end of the year to make sure that all 10 of those causes, and now we get to add, and we've already said that we are going to support your foundation as well. So Dr. Davis?
I owe you some money and I feel bad. That just touched my conscience. Yes.
You owe me a penny.
My heart and my conscience owes you. Yes, yes, yes. So back to summer safety. Back to summer safety. So we had said that we wanted to talk more about what the West Foundation is doing for CPR education and awareness. How are you advertising? How are you stoking interest, particularly in our community, in African American communities, to just help people know that this is so, so important, because we're not just talking about, CPR if you find someone drowning. CPR is important if someone is found not to be breathing, if they find that someone doesn't have a pulse. These first aid and safety lessons also include things like the Heimlich maneuver, and to be outside and enjoying yourself during the summer. Sometimes you're having fun, you got your mouth open, you're sleeping and eating at the same time, and things happen. So it's very important that people know these things and people know what to do should these things happen. But how do you generate interest for program participation?
And another great question. The way we generate interest is actually through our United Protected Security company. We actually advertise on our website for United Protected Security. When an individual take our security class, they have an option to take the CPR portion of the class as well. So when you leave there, because we realize that security officers, almost like first responders, they're normally at the location providing security, and someone can go down at that site, and first person there needs to provide CPR. So we offer that. But we advertise through our website on United Protected Security, which you can find on the Black pages. Thank you all for that. We also advertise through the Black pages of our security company, so you can get all the information you want on our security agency. Now, we have not advertised it yet. We're in the process of putting a lot of information on our Morris and Leah West Foundation on how you can just take a CPR class without going through a security officer training class. The amount will probably be zero. It's all depending on how much funding that we can get in to provide this service. We don't want to charge an individual. We want to educate them, train them to learn. But we need money, and if we have the money to do it, then we'll put on all these classes throughout the state. So we'll travel. We'll come to you, and we'll teach you how to perform CPR. And the CPR certification is 2 years. 2 years. Your card is good for 2 years, because we never know at some point in time where you can be your loved one to your left or to your right that goes down to perform CPR. And the worst case scenario, if you don't know how to perform CPR, and time is of the essence, because after so many minutes, without any oxygen going to the brain, you become clinically brain dead. So that's why CPR is very important to the Morrison Leah West Foundation as well.
That is such an important point, and we should also consider different ways to reach teens. Okay, and I say that that's important because when they're out babysitting or they're amongst friends when they get to that age, my kids are driving now, that they're amongst their peers. Those are important lessons to know also. And if a kid is out babysitting, that is something that can get them an extra $1 an hour. So ways to reach our teens and talk about the importance of first aid and knowing that is definitely something that we must consider.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely.
And actually, I got a letter, Mayor West. I got a letter from Leah West about your foundation, and that's how I was able to learn more about what you all were doing. I don't know if you guys can see it. When I got this letter, and that's one of the things that we have to do. We support each other. And when I got that letter, my first thought was, how could Dr. Davis and I use our platform to help you with your foundation? Because the awareness that you're bringing just spoke volumes to us. And I'm so glad that you're here today to continue to share that information. So but you're in protective. So you mentioned that your wife was certified. That's part of what your guys or your team goes through with your security company. So were you a swimmer as a youth?
Of course, yeah. Yes. Our parents was afraid of the water, and they, we had a community pool.
Yes.
Our parents feared every day that we went to the community pool and that we was not going to return home, and afraid that and that's that fear that they put in us. But sometimes step out on faith, and then over a period of years, they realized that it was very important that we was able to learn how to swim. All of my brothers and sisters knows how to swim.
What a beautiful legacy.
Yes, like I said, but my parents at first thought the fear and of the drowning, but you got to get over the fear. That's why babies at an infant stage doesn't have fear. So that's why it's easy to train them and put them in the water at an early age. Now, our main goal is, and what we will be love, and I'll be remiss not to say this, that one of these individuals that we learn how to swim, that we'll look up one day, and we'll be able to see them on an Olympic team as a swimmer, maybe winning a gold medal.
We've made it. We've made it. We actually have an African-American woman on our Olympic swimming team this year. I forget her name, but she's a member of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. And I think Madison or Morrison or something like that is her last name. But she made that team and got first place in seconds in the 200 meter when she swam. And it was a phenomenal thing to see. In our last few moments, I want to pivot, still talking about summer safety, but when I was learning about the Morrison Leah West Foundation, I was really attracted to your mission statement and the tenets of it. And the third, health, not just safety, but health and safety. And that it also included enhancement of social and civic and cultural awareness. Where in your youth engagement programs is there information about nutrition and exercise? And what are we doing in the Haines City area to promote youth fitness?
And my daughter just brought that to our attention, and we're going to incorporate youth and fitness in our Morrison Leah West Foundation. My daughter, Bianca West, is actually the president. My wife and I are just the name carrier for the foundation, but wants to incorporate youth fitness. So that's going to be the next phase, along with also the adult portion of teaching them how to swim. But you will see all of that, all those links coming onto our foundation to be able to donate to prevent and to educate nutrition, but that will be a part of our foundation. Our foundation was just established this year, so we're in the early phases of it.
Awesome. Certainly, here at Your Best You, personalized primary and diabetes specialty care. Shout out to us. But seriously, I am a certified diabetes care and education specialist, and certainly that includes, components of nutrition, why it's important to be active. So I'm happy to help in this worthwhile cause to enhance the health and wellness of your community.
And we've already reached out to a trainer to be able to train him on obesity and health wise. So he's going to be coming on as a member, as a team member of our organization to help in that awareness. So we are on point with that, and that's a great question. So we are working on that portion. It's just these links going to come on eventually. Like I said, this is the first year. We started it small. We're hoping that it can grow throughout the state of Florida, and we're going to continue to put our money into this endowment, into the Morris and Leah West Foundation, to make sure that we teach kids how to swim and eventually adults get into the obesity and the diabetes and all that awareness will be part of our foundation.
Yeah.
Well, Mayor West, you be sure and let Miss Bianca know. She's got a great resource in Dr. Shanae Davis.
Absolutely.
Her information, she's going to give it at the end of the show. We still have, another good 15 minutes on the show, and we'll make sure that information is there. But I love the fact that and listening to Annetta talk about having that fear. My mom also had that fear of water and swimming. And it is something that is instilled in your children. She had a fear of heights too. And to this day, I just kind of seem to just get past that one. But you know what? God willing, I'm going to jump out of the plane, and that'll be the end of that fear. So, but back to what we're talking about, and the fact that you want to add that youth component so that our youth will be fit, and you want to add that adult component. Just know that when you do, we want you to come back and share with us on this platform. And Dr. Davis has another program where she's going to be explaining to us about another service, because she wants to see all of us in shape and fit, whether we're 25 or 28. And so I'm looking forward to hearing about that. I'm not sure she's going to share any of that today. I'm looking to sign up for it already.
Yes.
Dr. Davis?
All righty. All right. Well, I thank you so much, Mr. West. And we look forward to putting up your information so that we can assist you by, just the listeners of this show hearing about the awesome work that you're doing there and helping to pad your coffers for such a worthy cause.
And I just to all the listeners know that fact that this is not a Haines City or Polk County foundation. This is a state of Florida foundation. We're not here. It just originated out of Polk County, but our foundation, we wanted to cover all 412 cities and municipalities throughout the state of Florida. The best way you can help us is someone can post that donation letter on their website, or put a link to our website, and they can give us a call. And I can give you a number where they can call us as well. And if they want to donate, we believe in saving, one individual at a time, and we're going to do our part. And we hope that all the listeners do their part and help save lives and teach folks how to swim. Florida is surrounded by water. There's 543 natural lakes here in Polk County. And if a kid jumping in one, we want them to be able to swim out of that lake, to swim out of that pool, and live to see another day. And that's our ultimate goal.
Absolutely.
I read that number, and I wasn't sure if I read that number because you've got one of your, and I'm sure you know her, Yvonne McShay. She's an author out of Polk County, resides in Lakeland. She's been a guest on our show, and she wrote a book about Lakeland. And I was thinking, what did I read? 540 lakes in the city of Lakeland? And so
Lakeland, yeah.
Yeah, Lakeland. It is definitely Lakeland. It may have even been on your website, Mayor West. But that being said, if we do, my letter is all marked up. So if your letter is on your website, I can pull it from there. But if not, you need to send me another one so that we can share your letter with our show posts.
And we sure will. And like I said, once again, thank you all for allowing the Morris and Leah West Foundation to be on your show today. What an honor and a privilege to be able to meet both of you all. So please reach out to me, Mayor West, City of Haines City, if you need anything over here in Polk County, and we can be of any assistance. Let us know from the City of Haines City and also from the Morris and Leah West Foundation.
Good deal. So if you are in the Tampa area, and you're just getting this information, but you have a YMCA membership. I'm on the board of Tampa Central City YMCA, and the YMCA also offers swim lessons and safety information. It also has a lifeguard program that is connected with the Red Cross. There is also an opportunity for some at some of the locations to sign up and have the lifeguard certification paid for by the YMCA. So contact your local YMCA or go online to see what's available at the one that's closest to you. Swimming, again, is very, important, particularly in our community. Because the deaths are so disproportionately higher when it comes to Black youth versus white youth. Swimming and drowning deaths is the leading reason that children in Florida die, no matter the race, but particularly with our youth. And we want to do what we can as a village to try and decrease that disparity, amongst us. Improving the confidence around water is ultimately the goal. And that means to highlight, that fear and mitigate that fear, I meant to say, amongst adults too. So we want to make sure that we're getting that message out. From a nutrition standpoint, I want to talk about one myth. And then I want to ask you some questions if you have some about the water, because I got to talk about Hepatitis Awareness Day, World Hepatitis Awareness Day, and some skin cancer before we get off. But this myth is that you can't eat and get in the water. Have you ever done that, Cheryl? Got something to eat and then dove off that, diving board?
Listen, don't call me out. I had to tell my young people that if they ate, they were not going back in the pool for 30 minutes.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Generally, that 30-minute rule does hold, but that absolutely is a myth. You can eat and swim. However, because it takes circulation to digest your food, and your blood is going to your intestines and your circulate, into your guts to digest, there's less circulation available for your muscles so that you can have energy to swim. So I wanted to do what I could to conquer that myth, because we have enough of them going around in our neighborhood and in our community as it is. So any questions?
Okay, you settled that one. I will probably still tell the kids to do that. But listen, and let's also give a shout out to Keith Harris. Mayor West, Keith really wanted to be on our show today. And he's actually at a luncheon, and he wanted to talk to us along with Summer Safety in his role with the Boys and Girls Club. He will be coming on and joining us again. Maybe we'll pair him up when we can get Leah West to come on and talk about CPR. I'm certainly hoping that we can do just that. But to Your Honor, we are so excited to have had you on our show today. We will make sure you send a letter to us, but everything that we have now from the website, we will post that information about the 2 centers that you're using in Lakeland on our website, and we'll let you make your final appeal. But just know that DSI Black Pages will be supporting your foundation and Let's Talk Business with SJC, because we want to see those kids learn how to swim. And like I never said, when she said $40, I was like, that's the right number. $40 on both sides.
That's a round number.
Dr. Davis, and then we're going to come back. She has some stuff that she has to talk about, and our final thoughts from you, Mayor West.
Yes, no problem. Thank you. You want the final thoughts from me now, or you want to come back?
You have the mic. You have the mic.
One thing with our foundation, I want to keep in mind and let you all know that our foundation, even though it's in Polk County, that if you wanted to have swimming lessons and you were in Hillsborough County, you were in Pinellas County, when you reach out to us, you just tell us the location that you reside there, and then we will notify the closest training facility there, and we will pay for it out of our foundation. With your show up to that foundation, and then they be prepared to teach you how to swim. If there's a cost, we will pay for it. That's what we want to do. Our goal is to spread our training and awareness throughout the state of Florida. But of course, it takes financial burden. It's a financial that may hold us back, but we're going to get there one child at a time. We're going to pay for it. We'll continue to pay it forward to help someone to swim. And thank you all today for allowing the Morris and Leah West Foundation to be on your show. And we'll look forward to coming back to teach you the fundamentals of CPR at a later date. And thank you so much.
Absolutely. And our best to Leah West. Dr. Davis?
I said, thank you so much. We can't wait to have your lovely wife on to talk more about the CPR, and maybe we can have him on at the same time as Mr. Harris, who's CEO of the Boys and Girls Clubs in the Tampa Bay area. All right, so.
One last thing I can interject, a board member for the Central Florida Boys and Girls Club here in Polk County.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
Well, we making happy on.
I told you it was a long list.
Wonderful.
Dr. Davis, you got to get your final thoughts in.
Yeah. So July is also the month that houses World Hepatitis Day. You may go to the doctor now and they want to add on a Hep C screening. This is because most hepatitis infections don't give you some profound symptoms that are readily observable. Hepatitis tends to linger on a little bit and then you'll get some symptoms if it exacerbates, like yellow eyes and fatigue and some swelling of the abdomen. But all of that doesn't have to happen. We can mitigate and treat if these things are found early. We don't worry so much about hepatitis B for younger people because it's a part of those standard vaccinations for our youth. But hepatitis B is actually more contagious than HIV through blood and body fluid contact. So just general protection, hand washing, safe sex, and things like that can help to prevent an hepatitis B infection. And if you work around such environments, it's always just smart to get vaccinated. But Hep C screening is something now that the CDC recommends for everyone over the age of 18 and also for pregnant women with every pregnancy. And no matter the age, if you have HIV, you use IV drugs, you have like abnormal liver levels, or you've had a blood transfusion, it's always a good idea to talk to your healthcare provider about those parts of your history and get a Hep C screening anyway, because you can have it without symptoms. And the good part about that is you can be treated and never experience the jaundicing or the yellow eyes and the swollen liver or that large abdomen and ascites, etc. So July 28th is World Hepatitis Day. Untreated hepatitis can also lead to liver cancer. And Moffitt Cancer Center is one of our sponsors, and we always want to make sure that we're highlighting our risks as African Americans because we're sometimes slow to screen. And when we find out that a cancer of any kind is there, it's more advanced, and that means that our treatment options are fewer and more invasive. So anytime that we can, screen and find things early, we have less invasive options to manage them. And that way our quality of life is less impacted. So they have a hepatic or liver cancer division, there. And with it being an NCI cancer center right here in our backyard, we definitely want to support them in their community outreach, their advocacy, and encourage our people to seek care there when they're affected and they need the services that Moffitt Cancer Center provides.
Absolutely. I know time did not permit us, but I did want, and we probably only have a couple of minutes left, but I did want, as we were talking about, I heard you talking about vaccinations, and my first thought went to, I'm now hearing numbers where the corona, I was about to say corona. Well, it was, but the coronavirus is now affecting our younger people, and the inpatient numbers are going up. So maybe you can shed a little light coming up on our second hour of the show. But I know August has its own agenda. But it is something it's been over a year, and we're still talking about it. But there's still a problem in our culture with vaccinations.
We have to get over that. We have to get over that, particularly with this Delta variant of it.
Yes.
Vaccinations help shrink the pool that corona has to mutate in. So if you're not vaccinated, you're not only more likely to get the coronavirus, you will get a variant of the virus that's stronger, and the effects are more devastating. I didn't read this story myself, and I usually don't give secondhand information, but I'm actually encouraging, our listeners to look this up. There was a Central Florida, I think it was Manatee County, office building where the virus just went rampant, throughout the building. It infected pretty much everyone there, and the vaccinated, nothing happened to them. The unvaccinated, they either died or were hospitalized. These were younger people. And listeners, if you are not vaccinated, talk to your healthcare provider and share your concerns. Go to, a primary source, and look at this information yourself. See who made this. See that this solution, this vaccine was essentially a solution without a problem until coronavirus came along. So this wasn't developed overnight. There were minority scientists involved in its development. Is it going to hurt you? Hundreds of thousands of people have had the vaccine. I've been vaccinated. Cheryl's been vaccinated. Yeah, well, listen, we had, Dr. Sneed. He was one of the first, in Tampa on to get this vaccine. We've had Reach Up, go out in the community. We've talked about their be in our community to answer questions directly. You see that young people are being hospitalized now, not the vaccinated. You see that 6 or 7% of the 99.3% of the deaths that occur from coronavirus now are amongst the unvaccinated. So all of the data are just there. It's kind of in your face at this point. So talk to someone. And
Dr. Davis, what's in our face right now is we come to the end of our show, and you'll hear more about it. If you have that link, please share it with us. We'll post it with our thank you post. But let me take this opportunity to say a very, very special thank you to the Honorable Mayor, Mayor Morris West of Haines City, to Annetta, who came on to share, to you, Dr. Davis. We appreciate all that you're doing at your best and we will put all of that on our thank you post. Ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, social media viewers, this show is a wrap.
It's a wrap.